spotlight. All right. So if you're seeing this in a gallery mode, put this in a speaker mode so that this comes into the spotlight, because it's where you get to see everything. Now, as we start, a lot of times what stops us always is there is going to be a friction, like, like can I do, and there is always this friction, this initial thing. So let's just loosen up our arms and let's just let go of that friction, shall we? So I want you to take your pencil. This is going to be the wand with which you're going to create magic. I want you to take the pencil and I want you to just on a paper, like on a different page of the book you want to draw. In this, just kind of make some little bit of these loose lines and these lines to just get your hands on it. So just move around, draw these lines. And as you draw them, try and get them as straight as possible. You don't have to hurry and do the lines. In fact, you can make small areas in here where you're going to basically put the pencil and just try and draw these straight lines. Keep them parallel to each other as possible. Straight, parallel lines. And slowly try and bring your attention into getting them straight. Straight, parallel. Lines. Let's try and move the hand. Like a curve. Can you do this? Let's try and move this. Make the next line parallel to this. Let's try and create another one just parallel to this. And as you do this, pay your attention on the line before it. Just your complete attention resting here, your hands, focusing on the movement of your hands. And we do that. Can we add a circle here? Just to loosening up by the side, just creating these round shapes. As round as possible. When you draw, sometimes your hands will go into a mode of oval. That's okay. Just try to make it as round as possible. And just don't put a lot of thought thinking into this. That can I do this? Can I not? Just move your hands, pay a complete attention, and let it flow. Can we draw another concentric circle? And as you do this, your eyes are going to be on the line right next to it and try to keep it parallel. You're going to focus. You're going to get it parallel. Straight. Parallel. Just pay your attention on the line before and try and see how much you can move it. Sit, watch. Let's do the same for the other two circles. Just kind of creating these lines, making sure that the line you're making is in coordination. And there we go. Can we add a few lines parallel to this? Straight. Maybe your lines might just go this way. Maybe it might just come this way. But whatever direction it comes, just pay your attention on the one that you're doing right now. What has already been done in the past cannot be changed. The only thing that is in your control truly is what you can do right now. So let's focus on the line that you're making right now and try and get this parallel. Right. That's a major loosening that we've done. You can just, catch up your knuckles and just let go of all the friction. See, the very first thing that we are going to be doing is we're going to be trying and setting up the structure with which we can follow for everything else. the structure is very important for whatever it is that we are going to be doing. So the very first thing that I want you to do here is that I want you to draw one line that is starting from the center and pulling it down. See, from the center, it's almost like you're trying to divide this. Now your line might go this way or anyways. If you want, you can use something straight to just get it straight, or just use your hands and let's just try and divide this. See, let's move your hands, keep it really light. It's very important that as you're making the first strokes, you make it really light, and as straight as possible. Did we do this? Yes. Now, in the same way, I want you to divide this into two halves, straight and parallel, nice and smooth. Keep it light and let your hands go. In other words, you can say that you're letting the lines come on its own and you're just kind of being the medium. I don't want you to try and force making a line. Just let your hands sort of loose and just let it go. So now you all have a cross on the paper. Yes, all of you ready with this so far? And remember, you're doing all of this with pencil. All right, all of this is being done with pencil, and you're not going to use a pen. Yes, absolutely. I want you to do this with the pencil and not with the pen, because the basic lines that we're going to be making, we're doing with the pencil. And remember, patience is the key. So now here, we are going to be drawing a tree which is symbolic of you, and we're going to show the roots, the soil, the environment. How many of you here remember the GROW framework that we learned about? GROW. We're going to be the, so this here is the environment, the roots, the values, and that make you. And this is the growth area. The fruits we're going to be drawing is the result of your action. In fact, your life can be compared to a tree where at the end of the day, who you are as a person. See, when you squeeze an orange, what comes out is orange juice. Orange has its property. A seed of an apple grows to become an apple and nothing else. Everyone here is born with an inherent potential, and you are meant to be that potential. No matter how hard you try, you cannot be anything else apart from that. And that's exactly why we face a lot of inner conflict when we try to do anything else than we are meant to be doing. You're meant to be something. You're meant to be someone. Existence has it for you. Now here, yes, you get this, yes. So now here, the growth, once you go ahead, once you understand these values and you live your life that is in harmony with these values, what happens as a natural process is growth. And the fruits that are generated are the results that you're going to be creating in life. So we're going to be starting from the bottom to the top. And here, what I want you to do is I just want you to draw like two lines that are parallel to this. See, now this is your tree trunk. Okay, two lines that are just parallel to this. Just keep it really light and let move your hands. Here, we're going to be putting the roots, correct? You're going to be adding the roots here. By the way, if you remember to hydrate, drink water, take a few sips, just as the roots need water to grow, you need to have water for your inner artist to come out. Let's call him or her. And then here, as for the roots, you don't have to draw anything clear and perfect. Let's just draw like a sort of a structure wherein you're just going to put these lines coming out. See, one line coming out, one line coming out. Like think of it this way, you're pulling one line, letting it come, and then you're extending one line out of this. Out of this, you're branching another line. So now this might, see, I want you to do this from different parts. Now this might not be exactly the route that you visualize, but I just want you to get the rough idea on the paper as though you're just pulling these lines out. As you do this, I also want you to pay attention to the symmetry for this. Now, what is symmetry? If you were to look at this mouse, you divide it from the half, the left and the right side look similar. They are mirror images. You look at my hands, the left and the right, it's not similar, they're not mirror. So the mouse is symmetric, my hands are asymmetric. In this case, you want the roots to be symmetric. That means the left and the right sides, you sort of want them to be equal in width. So if you're starting it along in this region, make sure the other one is also coming here. You don't want this to go high. You don't want this to come low. Sort of as you see, you will see that it's forming. You can fit this inside an oval. And this oval should, from the center, it is basically drawing two lines out of which you're extending these ovals or these roots. This oval or these roots that you're coming here. Right now, your drawing should look something like this. And yes, please remember to make all of these lines really light. Okay, keep it really light and keep your hands smooth. In fact, there should be absolutely no pressure that you're putting it. It's almost like imagine you're carefully taking off a tissue paper. That's the effect in which I want you to do. I don't want you to do this like you're doing a scrubber. You know the difference between a scrubber versus that of a tissue paper. So I want you to move this like you're carefully taking off a tissue paper, and that's the care which I want you to do. Now, this really beautiful Tao is saying, as below, so above. So here, there's the meaning behind that is really beautiful. Who you are inside is the one that's going to reflect outside. And in the case of a tree as well, it's very interesting, fascinating that the tallest trees have the deepest roots. For you to really become the person that you want in life, your roots, your core values, they have to go in really deep. And that's when the tree of life, your tree of life is going to blossom out. Now here, you're going to just add these branches that are coming out. It's very interesting that the branches and the roots are going to look very similar. So I'm just going to start creating these branches. As you do this, similarly to this, you're just going to spread this out. As for the branches, you can sort of spread it this way, where you're dividing, and this is branching off into smaller this. In the case of the roots, you might add a lot of small lines. In the case of the branches, you're going to be adding these. You're going to be adding these lines that are wide and that is going to go internally. So that's what you're going to be doing. See, now it should look something like this. It should look something like, you know, like the really funky hair of someone or something like that. It should look like. Please remember that there has to be space above the drawing because this is where we're going to place much of the leaves and, you know, the branch extension. Right now, let's just do this. All right. And out of here, just like how we did it in this, out of these large branches, see this, these large branches that you just spread out, I want you to develop some smaller branches. See, let this branch out this way and just push out these lines like it's branching out, make it thinner, and from one point where it turns, branch it down. See, the trick to drawing the branch is very easy. You basically, this is how you can draw a branch. You have a major branch. You have a trunk which divides into major branches. Out of these major branches, at the point it turns is when a smaller branch comes. What is the purpose of the branch? To hold the leaves. And where do the leaves go? The leaves spread out so that they can capture maximum sunlight, so that its natural processes can occur. So basically the branch turns at one point where it thins out. Here as well, it's turning to this point where it thins out. Here as well, it's turning to this point where it thins out. From here again, it turns out little more. And from this it's a little more. From exactly from here, it turns out to different direction, from which it spreads out to couple more. And maybe out of this, we add another one, right? That's basically how you draw a branch. Imagine something swirly at the point it turns, you're turning it the other way. Then at this turn, you're turning it the other way, right? This is how you can draw the branches. Beautiful. So now here, you're going to, we'll be sharing the reference image. I don't want you to be distracted by the reference image. Hence, I'm not sharing it. As we do the detailings, I can share this with you. I'll just be pulling this out. And this, I'll just be pulling this out. Let's just, just kind of like spread it out nice and thin, and let's just really. And similarly for this, just as you would do the roots here, this also has to spread out in a way that this is also oval. Make sure that this is spreading out almost to the very edge of the paper, and make sure that these are symmetrical. You want to make sure that the left and the right is symmetrical, and it's coming this way, it's branching out, it's coming this way, it's spreading out, its fingers are going all over, and out of this comes the roots. So I'll just wait for you as you do all of this. Comment in DONE done if you did this so far. Make sure to hydrate. Done. Super. So let's go forward. We'll move forward. Now, what we're going to be doing from here is we are going to start with the roots, and we're going to start drawing in the details. Here's how I want you to draw the roots. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in so you can see more clearly. Here's how we're going to be drawing the roots. First, you have this branch out of which you spread one portion out. You spread one portion out. Okay. One thick portion out of which you're going to extend two thin versions out. Out of this, you're again going to extend two thin versions out. And same from here, going to extend two more. If you want, you can add two more here. This is how your root should look. Let's do that again. I want to start off with one branch, one thick branch. And you don't have to press the pencil. I'm making it dark so that you can see clearly. Just want you to draw one root that's thick, that's coming out. It's coming here. Out of this, you're just going to spread it into two, give it a V branching. And this smaller portion, this V branch is slightly smaller, you're going to turn it to two more and two more. Just as above, so below. But just the roots are going to be more exposed in this. Let me tell them you made them using ChatGPT. Then here. So now I don't want you to think about what goes about this. Let's just draw these separate branches here. Once again, I want you to draw another one major branch. The same thing. Okay. So can it come out of the circle? Absolutely, Hina. Very good question. So now you might think that uh, I have, please pay attention. Now you might think that hey, I have a circle, maybe I should keep it inside this. No, that's not the case. The circle, the oval, was that to just give you a sort of framework. It can come out of it. At the end of the day, you don't want the root to look like it's pruned, right? You don't want to look like it's chopped and put to an exact way. You want it to look organic, so feel free to spread it out. This oval was just there to give you a sort of guideline as to how to look at it. Otherwise, you can just pull this out. Feel free to pull this out and do this, okay? Now out of this again, see the variations that you can make in this are going to be, you can just change the way you just draw the individual branches. For example, this one I've given it a little slightly more bent. This one as I draw, I'm going to bend it towards this side. So in this way, you can just change, play around with the bend and variation of it. I really leave it to you. I want you to just go ahead with the flow of what it's going. And as you do this, once again, I tell you, don't think too much about it. You already have the algorithm. Just follow it. Now at this point, don't think where should I stop, where should I. As you draw intuitively at a certain point, your hands will just branch out. Let that be. The same thing here. After a certain point, it will just, your hands will just branch out and let that go. Same here, just let it branch out. In between this gap, you can fill and just let it go. Same here again. Let's turn this, let's slightly bend this. Note that the root towards the left side is turned towards the left. The roots towards my right is turned towards the right. That's the only difference. You don't want the roots on this side to turn towards you. You want it to spread it out in all directions. So let's start here as well. Let's just, start from the extreme right and just go here. Once again, one root that I'm drawing, which I will just divide it into two more and two more, and let's spread it out. In the end, you will just see that just the two lines are enough. You just have to curl it, turn it, and there you go. You have to turn it around, just fill these gaps. Like be fearless as you do this. It's your drawing, it's your paper, it's completely your freedom to make. You are the creator. In fact, one of the best feelings about making art is there is so much of control and power that you can put into this. It's your creation. And who creates? It's the God. So when you draw, you are in fact becoming a god. Wow, now that must be too much to think about, right? It can't be right. I'm becoming a god. But I want you to all to know that at the end of the day, the divine is flowing through all of us. Each one of you here have such amazing potential that out of nowhere you came and you're here. So don't worry too much about the perfection here. Just let it flow, let it move. It's yours and let it go. Now here I just want you to pay attention to this because it's going to truly, truly blow your minds away if you pay attention. But I want to make sure that you all did this. So comment in S if you did this so far. S if you've drawn this so far. Because the next part I want you all to be really careful. Okay. So, okay. Done. Brilliant. Now here, what I want you to do is, I want you to look at this root and this tree here, this root here. And I want you to start imagining as though these were intertwined. This is the branches. These are the roots. I want to make a connection between both. Okay, I want to make a connection between both. And not just that, I'm going to make it up here twisted. How am I going to do that? Okay, so I want you to look at this here carefully. How are you going to make it twisted? I have this roots this branches that is coming up here. And then I have this roots that is going outwards. If I have to connect it, what I have to do is I have to take this one towards the right and connect it to the one towards this bottom left, top right to bottom left. See, you can get that connection. So what about this one? You kind of follow this like the lines that we had made, but you can make little variations into it. So you're creating this turn, this effect of this twist. How many of you think such trees are so aesthetic when you're able to see a twisted branch? And the way to do that is you draw the top, the bottom, and then you connect it this way, creating this twist here. What about this one? You make it like this. But remember, you don't have to make it perfectly parallel. You can play around with it, just make it a sort of uneven. See, just play around with it, and these edges just make it curved so that this texture of the tree comes. The edge, the sides, you're going to curve it. Maybe not such an intense curve, but a lesser intense curve, but you're going to curve this edges. You're going to twist this line, and then you're going to connect the top right to the bottom left. Or you can also connect the, what can you do? You can also connect the top left to the bottom right. And this is also a way that you can do this. Either ways, as you do naturally, you don't even have to give a curl. Edges just turn together and it looks all twisted. Comment in MB if you are mind blown. Now then, after this, so you just choose your side. Being a right-hander, this comes naturally to me. A left-hander, typically this is what will naturally come. Again, there are no rules here. There's no hard and fast rules. You are just just opening up the gap between your intuitive mind versus the logical mind. So there's the logical mind that judges the things, and when I'm teaching you to the logical through the logical mind. But as you draw, I just want you to listen to these and then also remember to go with the way your hand wants to go at certain times. Just listen to the signals that your hand, your body gives you. So same here. I'll just let this go. I'll pull this out. And I have this here. I have this curve. And I have this. There you go. We have a really aesthetic tree coming our way. Let's add these branches as well now. Now that we have this, let's just make this a little neat. See, just make it a little neat. You don't want anything shabby to look here. Now the top and the bottom more or less looks the same. The difference is along the bottom, there is more depth. I mean, it's more thick. It's more thickly held together. Whereas the top, we're leaving this gap, not because there's a lot of gap in between the branches, but because we want to draw the leaves onto this. So I'm leaving a lot of these areas gap, and remember, these branches are there for you to later add the leaves onto this. So you don't want to make it as thick as you make in the root. You're drawing the branches. Comment in B if you draw the branches. Make sure to sip water, hydrate. Get yourself really onto this. And there you go. Now we'll draw some leaves into this. Let's add leaves into this. See how to add leaves. Okay. Here's what I want you to pay close attention to. The leaves, they don't stick onto the branch, the thick branches. If you look at the leaves are always formed at the thinnest branches, right? You take it, you pluck a leaf. You can't. Rarely you see a tree where the leaves directly come out of the branch. You see it amongst the thinner branches. So, for example, the leaf is going to be here. There is going to be a leaf here. I can add two leaves here. Same with this. I can add leaves here. See? But it makes little sense for me to directly add a leaf here. If I were to do it, I will spread out one branch and I will add a leaf. So try this out. Start with the outermost and just draw the shape of the leaves. See, leaves have a standard shape. There is nothing much to think about this. You can see that the basic shape of the leaf is going to look like one curve, another curve. Now, as you do the same thing, you can change the direction of the sea. Each leaf as you draw, small differences will come anyways. See, try this. It will be extremely difficult for you to draw two leaves in exactly the same way without having to put a lot of thought into it. No matter what you do, everything is going to look different. And that's the beauty of this. You don't have to exactly try and make every leaf look the same. Just sort of let it go and make sure to vary the sizes. Basically, as you do, the leaves that are on the outermost, you're going to make them the smallest. The leaf you're going to draw inside, you're going to make them bigger. Here, if I am drawing a leaf, I'm making this leaf bigger. Same here, I want to draw this leaf, I'm making this bigger. But on the outermost, it's smaller. Got it? So just draw the basic shape of this leaf. Let it go in different directions. Don't directly just sort of branch it out, and in between this, you're filling it with this pattern. Change the flow, the direction. See, this is turning here, this is turning here, this is turning here. This turns here. This turns here. Out of this, see, there's way too much gap. So if I just drew the leaf, it wouldn't look nice. So I'll just branch out. Wherever you see a lot of gap on the outside, branch it out and add the leaves. And yes, it can come out of this oval. This oval is just an imaginary, and it does not have to be there. So the same thing, you're going to do this. Wherever you're seeing a lot of gap on the outside, just add some branches and do the leaves. See, out of here, there is this gap here. So I'll just add the branches and I will draw the leaf. The leaf along here is slightly bigger. And I'm doing. So are you all able to do this? Yes? Comment in yes if you're able to do this. Now again, the worst mistake that you can make is look at mine and exactly replicate each leaf the way it is. That's not the way it has to come. Each of you are different. Each of your trees are different. And just follow the general guidelines and enjoy the process of drawing rather than trying to make an exact photo replica of what I'm doing. You're just going to play around with this and let it loose. In other words, you're just going to let the leaves take its own shape and manner. You will see slowly that the tree is developing its character. It's going to come, it's going to turn in a particular fashion. It's going to rock, and each one of your trees are going to look very different from each other. That's okay, even though we're drawing the same thing. See here, there's this gap, I'll just branch it out. If your branches are not in the shape that you want, you can adjust them. You can always, just play around with them and make it more like what you want. Let the big leaves come. Don't always have them face one direction. See, basically, you can see that you want the leaves to spread out in all the directions. Like here, you want to see the leaves spread here. Here, you want to see the leaves spread here. In this direction, you want to see the leaves are spread towards there. Towards here, you want to see the leaves are spread towards there. The mistake that you can make is trying to draw every leaf exactly the same way in the same direction. In this case, it will no longer look like a tree, it will just look like a row of stack of seeds that are arranged. So you want to have this, and you want to draw this leaf coming here, nice and big. Let's just quickly draw this. As we do the next side, we don't have to take that same time that we took for the other one. You can be quick because we already done this. You don't have to overthink it. Just let the branch come. Let me just balance out the leaf here. And eventually, yes, your drawing should look something like this at this point. Comment in I if you've done this so far. I have done it. I. Beautiful. Have a look at your drawing, but I want you all to be on the same page with me. Yes, how about others? How many of you have done this? Disha, I. Yes, Juveria, Shweta, Mira. How about others? There are 43 of you and only 4 people have so far done. Just give me a minute. All right. Okay, so now we are going to we're now going to add the fruits into this. At the end of all of this, the fruit of your labor is almost coming. So let's just add these nice, large, delicious looking fruits that are hanging out in between the leaves, and you want to kind of highlight them nice and large. Here, nice and large. Once again, you want to make them large. Just draw these large circles and this. Here. Sort of this large tree that's coming out here. That's how we do this. Super. Got it? With this so far, with this done so far, now we can start inking this. But before we start inking, before we start moving into the details and the final touches into this, I want you all to turn on your cameras and show me what you've drawn so far. All of you turn on your cameras, open your sketchbook, hold it in front of the camera. I want to see what you've done. Wow, Nikki, Ritika, Shivani, beautiful work, Shivan, Shweta, Jveria, Flora, Disha. So here, as you draw this, I just want you to make sure, just show me once again. Show me once again as you draw this. Just kind of make sure that it is, see, you can think of this branches this way. There is a line and then, just give me a minute. You can think of the, you can think of the branches this way, that there is a line and it's sort of fitting inside this. See, this line is of course invisible, but this sort of fitting will give the structure. So instead of the tree going a little, haywire, this will kind of give it a structure, and that's a really, really nice place to be. All right. Let's look at yes, Hina, superb, lovely, amazing work. Nice. So, okay, so here in Sushma's case, here's what I noticed, that the trunks are really, really strong and thick. The branches could have been more spread out. When you see, when you look at the tree, it always looks nice when the top is nice and when the top is nice and it's out there. But otherwise, what happens is when this is small and this the trunk becomes big, it just that characteristic of the tree, it doesn't always come out. So make sure that this is nice spread, this is big, and this is thin. All right. So let's go. Let's go into inking. So now here we have the drawing. Now I want you to start inking this. Take out a pen, any pen. I'm using a brown pen. This is what I have right now. I want you to use a pen, any pen. And basically what I want you to do is I want you to start drawing lines outside of this. Like exactly on top of the pencil line that you've drawn, I want you to start drawing these lines here. So you're basically following these pencil marks. Now the reason we are inking this is it adds a lot of clarity onto what you've drawn, and it's genuinely going to look good once you complete it. So over this, you're going to add this inking. So all these inkiness, you can compare inking to making that final touches. All of this right now is a lot of pencil marks, a lot of marks. And remember, notice throughout, we not use eraser even once. And you will feel tempted to erase because I personally don't like erasing. The reason is that then the attention is entirely going to be on where I need to, where have I gone wrong rather than what can I do more. It always breaks the flow when you take the eraser and do this. So we'll erase together in the end, but over the pencil marks, there must be a lot of marks which are not sure on what you've done. Over the mark that you are most confident in, I want you to draw with pencil strokes. So see, follow this one, let this come and we have this here. So out of this, see along this marks goes your pen, and your pen lines are going to go buttery smooth. That's why I said your pens has to have be a little smooth. You don't have to have any special pen. You don't need a brown pen. You don't need a fine liner pen. You don't even need an ink pen, but it just has to be whatever pen you're using, it has to be smooth. So completing the roots, letting it go, letting it flow. So now here again, you can fill these branches. You can move on to the branches. Now along the branches, you might not be really confident on where to draw. Let's start at the bottom parts where the trunks are clearly visible. We'll only focus on the part where you know what you're doing is clear and visible. All right. Yes. So now here, you're going to draw the same along the leaf. You're going to add this. You're going to complete this. Let's start by drawing the leaves. You're more clear on that. And then the branches in between, you can do after that. So once you draw the leaf and the fruit, it's just about fill in the blanks for the last few portions that you're doing. Just carefully, nice and slow. We do this. Focus on the big elements first. The smaller things will follow. Let's draw these large leaves. These large leaves in between. You can fill these gaps. Like I love the way this small branches are shaping out. You can just add it like an intermediary. Let's do these. Carefully drawing these leaves. Just focusing on the hooks, the turns, the flows, the curves, letting it fall. making it move into the areas, the niches. Try not to get overwhelmed. And the way to do that is to simply follow along these large leaps. These leaves, let them twist and turn. Don't shy from drawing the smaller leaves. These small leaves, now you might think that let me just finish it quickly. We're drawing the last leaves, but the small leaves are what adds character to the drawing. They add depth, much like anything else. So there's a really famous saying that it's a saying in architecture that the god is in the details. So it's said with the intent that it's in the small details that you start finding the beauty into it. So enjoy the process. Don't worry too much about rushing it. Let the leaves come, and you're nearly there. You're focused, you're highly alert. Spreading the leaves out. There is this area in between. You're just letting that out. And there you go. Once you're done, what I want you to do is, I want you to take your eraser. Okay, you can do this after you made the inking. I want you to take the eraser. Now I want you to start erasing the entire drawing so that all that remains is the pen part, is the pen drawing. All that remains is pen. And now you can get a real clarity on what are the gaps, what are the areas that you have to fill, so you know clearly what to do. Let's erase it off the roots. And here with this. Make it nice and clean. It's extremely relaxing to erase this off. And it's like unveiling the box of your favorite food order. You unveil it, you remove it, and you have this. So once you're done this so far, let me know in the chat box, comment it I. For all of you who've done this, here's what you can do. You can add in elements like this smaller leaf. We can add in these small, we can add in these parts where these branches go. You can add these leaves. There is this area here, maybe I can add a fruit. Like a tree, let the elements come. See a lot of large gaps, I can just add a fruit there. I can add a leaf there. Couple of leaves here will do the trick. So that's it. Hey, I don't think so. I would not want to leave it at this. Let's just add some more depth, some more detailing into this so that we can get some effect. We can get some really nice effects onto this. Are you ready for that? Yes, you ready for that? Let's go. Comment in red E if you're ready to add in some details and really light this up. Let's go. Ready? Done so far? So comment in ready after you've done, after you've drawn this, and then you erased off the pencil mark as well. You've done the inking and you erased off the pencil marks. Now you're left with a clean slate like this with only the ink. So I want you to do ready. So let's go. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to start drawing smaller branches inside this. So you're basically just going to detail it with the same patterns. So you're really highlighting on certain features. For example, in this one, if you simply detail it like this, if you just add this, it's really going to add a lot of depth into this. See here again. See, out of this, you have this branch. You can take it along in this lengthwise. You can even divide it widthwise. So I'm taking it along lengthwise here. Just this part again, I'm just going to divide this into smaller twists. So I'm going to add this little twist into the drawing. Add this little twist in here. Curling out these branches. Letting it curve, letting it fall out. Really just, just moving the hands in between this. We just get some, we get some twists and turns into this and make this exotic. Few twists here, few turns there, and even Do similar thing along the roots. You can add a similar little bit of twists and turns into the root as well, but make sure that you're containing it inside and make it like your own fingerprint. You're letting the marks, you're creating unique marks onto this as though like it's your own fingerprint. Letting this come, and we have this. Now here with the trunk, we have finally left the leaf, for which I can just simply make a few marks inside this to just, just to shade. Like you don't even have to do this everywhere. You sort of just add this. Every leaf, you can just draw a line in the center and you can divide it with these lines you're putting. Every leaf, you can take a leaf. What you do is this, you take a leaf, you divide it into center and then draw these lines. The signature pattern for the leaf. Now, some leaves are going to be big, so you're going to find it easier. Some leaves are going to be small, so you only draw less lines. Where you have space, you draw more lines. For example, in certain leaves, I can only add like 2 lines. In certain, I can add some more. And accordingly, we're going to add this line in the middle and divide. Line in the middle and divide. Line in the middle and divide. See, draw one line. Here I can only add 2 lines. So you really go quick at this. Like, don't spend too much time thinking where to draw the next line. You see the next leaf, immediately move on to it. Keep moving on to the next leaf as you see. Just letting these leaves fall out. Branching it out and slowly adding these details into this. In between these gaps, you can add these small branches or fill it with leaves. Just don't let a lot of gap be in between these leaves. You can add smaller leaves, or there's a lot of gap. You can add a big trunk, or you can add a big trunk or a fruit, or if it's a small gap, you just add a few lines. Kind of get this really dark so that this stays in contrast with the other areas. Contrast is really important if you want to create depth and meaning into the drawing. So basically add these contrasts and we have this. Small areas, just fill this. Very good. You can even highlight around the leaves, like getting it a little dark. Just around the leaf, just highlight a few lines around the leaf, just darken it so that this, once again, you just want to create that depth and that contrast into this. There you go. Let's add a few. Let's add a little bit of rain effect onto this. So you can just sort of create this small drips of water of different size and almost seem like it's falling out of this with a line. See, one small drip followed by a large and another one. Just create these drips of water and then follow it with some lines such as a static back. See, one and a line. I'll wait for you until you do this, until you complete this. Below the root, you can just add a few lines to just show the ground. In between this, just sort of fill it with these lines to that. So once you do this, comment in IDI. I did it. And sign your name. I signed with the pen name Soul. You can use your initials or your pen or anything of that sort. IDI. I did it. Super. Win. Lovely to see you all completed. Super. So that is your tree of life. And from nothing, we created this. How many of you are really proud of what you created today? Yes, be proud of what you did this. How many of you here doing this for the first time and you did something absolutely and you think you made something absolutely amazing? This, what you see here, this is your life. Yes, you can ink it. This you see here, this is your life. And the best thing is that we can always create it. Just as here in this environment, with the right instruction, with a group of people, you are able to create this. Just in the same way, in the yes, relaxed, yes. How do you feel? Comment in, comment in. So what, just like this tree that you created on paper or a tree that you're seeing in real life, all you need is the right conditions. You need the right environment, you need the right supportive community. You need to be in the space where you are able to express, and more importantly, you need an environment that is conducive of your growth. How many of you here would absolutely love to be in such an environment where it's absolutely just like, a tree has a fertile soil and it grows? Space around you is so conductive of your growth that you just blossom. Yes, that is this community. So be a part of this, be a part of this group. We'll be doing more sessions. We'll be doing not just, we'll be doing a lot of art sessions, and not just art sessions, we'll be doing a lot of sessions on every area that's regarding your personal vision and your growth. And for everyone who's not yet joined in for Elevate, this is your last call for joining in. We still have seats for a few more people left. For everyone who's there, Surya, can you drop the link in the groups? The Elevate link in the groups. Surya will drop the link. And in case any of you have doubts, you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to Surya. Sincerely, we're here for you. We start on February 3rd, 10 a.m. to 4-5 p.m. And it's going to be on Saturday and Sunday. You can set aside, it's going to be one weekend that you're going to be leaving for your group. So for everyone here, this is your last call. So with this, we have done. Yes, you feel awesome. You feel awesome yet? Beautiful. So share your drawing. Share your drawing in the group. Share your put it out as a post on Instagram. Tag at SoulFlowArt. Let me just type it here. You can find us at SoulFlowArt and tag us here. We'd really, really love to see your drawing. Share it in the group, and I look forward to seeing you, more of you. Yes, all of you. Show your work, show your work. Amazing. I look forward to seeing all of you in the coming sessions. Superb. Let's take a photo. All of you turn on your cameras. I'll take a photo only if you all turn on your cameras. Sushma, Medha, Freen, Flora. I can see Flora's turn on camera. Shivani, Elizabeth, Rinalini, Sahil. All of you, and all of you to turn on your cameras. And show us, show your work. Yes, many of you still have your cameras off. It's all of you turn your cameras and show me. Amazing. Beautiful. So that's about it. See you again. See you again. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow also we'll be having a session similar to this. And see you on Elevate for everyone who's joined in. How many of you here are already part of Elevate? 79? Yes. Super. Looking forward to seeing you. Had a grand orientation, and I absolutely can't wait to spend the weekend with you all. Yeah.